Small group small group techniques. Small group techniques are the means of method used in group situation to bring out group act. So the by the word it is being signified that it comprises of less number of people that come together with a mindset of a techniques that is beneficial for the group and that will work out in the group. There are time-tested techniques like lectures, debate, forum, dialogues, symposium, brainstorming, etc., through which program action may be accomplished. So there are so many techniques which are being already tested, and it is said like this is a good technique for contacting the small group people, a small group. So the first one is lecture. It is normally used in formal situation. So all the formal institution, that formal education, they provide lectures in the formal infrastructure with a curriculum that follows on. So lecture gives an outview of what is exactly going on um, uh, and what topic it is. The theoretical presentation of the lecture. It requires thorough preparation on the part of the person who delivers the lecture. So, obviously, if you are going to tell a very uh, thoughtful topic or a very useful topic to a particular group, it should be prepared wisely so that all the points are being cleared, whatever are related to that topic, and all the questions that could be arises should be already accomplished in the lectures. Dynamic characteristic of a lecture method. So even for this lecture also there is a proper method that should be followed. And how should it look like? So the first point is, as an extremely formal technique, the lecture permit only one-way communication. So as I have already stated that it is in a formal institution, it is a formal situation. So the lecture take place in a form of a formal procedure. So it's only have a one-way process, and a little bit time is being given later to clarify the doubts. So the person who is the spokesperson is the main important person to communicate. So that is why it's a one-way process. It allows for complete and detailed communication without any interpretation. So it allows for a complete and detailed communication. So there should be no manipulation held between the lecturer and the people who are listening to it. Why? Because these lectures are being given mostly by the expertise and the person who is already in depth involved in this in the topic. So interpretation is not given in that. Why? Because if interpretation is there, then maybe whatever the way the lecturer is conveying may not be exactly consumed by the audience. It is a very rapid method of conveying information to a group. So if you give a lecture, it becomes an effective thing to convince a group. Control of audience is rigid since it is entirely in the hand of the speaker. So, whatever the audience are thinking and what are they going to ask is already controlled by the speaker. It is an abstract form of group interaction and hence call for a high degree of competence for speakers and high level of audience cooperation. What is the purpose of the lecture? To present information in the formal and direct manner, to supply expert information on a particular topic, to identify the problem area in a given situation, to explore the fact of the problem, to explore one or several situations to a problem. The next is symposium. Symposium is a group of talks, speech, or lecture presented by a several individual on a various phase of a single subject problem. Like we have most of the time we have a expertise talks on irrigation methods, expertise talk on horticulture cropping, new trends in that, or in um, emerging trends in cropping system of mango or floriculture and all. So uh, in this, what happened? Different expertise are being called to focus on the topic and give us acknowledge us with the various outcome of that. The identified problem may have effective component embedded for the session. A, mod- a moderator often controls time and subject matter. Properly used, the talk should be not exceeding 20 minutes and the total time should not exceed 1 hour. In a symposium, the audience may or may not participate. So, here one in the lecture, if you compare lecture and symposium, there is a one big difference is like in lecture everybody is participated regardless of their wishes, but in symposium it's not bounded that the audience should be participating with their whole heart and mind, whether they wish or not. So they are free to whether they want to join or not. But the lectures are given in 20 minutes and then for 1 hour so that people can understand, have an interaction with that particular area. The third small group contact method is panel discussion. A group of speakers, usually 2 to 8 participants, are panelists in a support supposedly informal communication conversation on a topic for the benefit of our listeners constitute the panel discussion. It may be discussed as an informal committee discussion overheard by an audience. The form of discussion is controversial. No speeches by members or by moderator should be permitted. A leader, as a moderator or a chairman, introduce the speaker to the audience and encourage less talkative by the administrative effective questions. Fourth part is debate. Debate is a series of lectures for and against on a given topic by knowledgeable persons. The normal pattern is to have two terms on affect, affirmative and negative side of the issue. The number of person on both the sides should be equal. Each team will have a leader supported by his team member and there will be a chair or moderator who presides over the discussion. So in a normal term, if we have seen a debate in our school life or in the college life, we have seen that there are two teams being formed on a one particular topic, and these two teams, I one will be for the speaking the for the positive aspects and the other with the negative aspects. And the panelists will have some judges are being kept to uh, say whether the debate should not have a overgoing from one point to another. It should circulate on the particular point that is given by the panelist or the judges. Forum question answer period. It is a discussion period that may follow any one of the above method of presentation. It consists of question period in which member of the audience may ask question or make brief statements. The forum provides an opportunity for the audience to clear up ob- obscure point and to raise question for additional information. It also gives individuals an opportunity to state briefly their understanding of a point and see whether they have interpreted correctly the material presented. It is primarily a mean of understanding information. Buzz session. So, buzz session actually is taking on a particular point that becomes a controversy. So, whatever the going around, we have to give our point on it, whether it is negative, positive, or whether you are neutral also. So, that is called a buzz situation with large group. When there is a limited time for discussion, the audience may be divided into small unit of a short period. This is called bus session. Group of 6 to 8 people get together after receiving instruction to discuss about a specific issue assigned. The secretary of each group will report the findings or the question to the entire audience when they are reassembled. This is actually a device to get more people to participate in a forum than would be in the case of otherwise. Workshops. It is essentially a long meeting from one day to several weeks, involving all the delegates in which the problem being discussed are considered by delegates in small private group. There may be a planning session where all are involved in the beginning. There must be considerable time for work sessions. There must be a summarizing and evaluation session at the close or at the end of the workshop. In the workshop method, the participants share their ideas, experience, and skills, and on this basis produce something in the end a report of or a program for further action, a publication, a visual, or any other material object. Conference pooling of experience and options among a group of people who have specific qualification is an in an area. What is a dialogue? Dialogue is a discussion carried on in front of a group by two knowledgeable person capable of thoughtful communicative discourse on specific subject. So giving a specific thought on a particular subject is going to be considered as dialogue when two expertise of the same thing gives a very vast picture. Role play, learner involvement in a critical factor in successful teaching. So learners are the people. If learners are not there, then teaching doesn't have any form. So people learn more effectively not by being taught in controversial, conventional way, but in a participatory mode. So uh, the word role play is telling that the person is playing, getting involved in the practical practices of the program, and then trying to understand being a person of that particular situation. Role play encourages active involvement of learners. It combines effective learning with an enjoyable experience. So it gives you an impression which will last for you rather than listening to the lectures, symposium, forums, and keeping everything in your mind. Then circular letters, specific needs and interests may be highlighted through provoking beginning is adversible. Printing must be neat. Personal touch, personal references add value to the context contents. Single purpose for each subject matter problem and separate must be prepared on a series based. Regionalism. Regionalism is connected with the diverse culture, language, reasons, caste, tribe present in our country. Language helped in strengthening of Indian unity. After independence, we decided to follow the same pattern of the British leading presidencies. Bombay, Madras, and Kolkata, princely states. People in Madras spoke Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada. The country was divided on the basis of language under Nehru because of Vallabhbhai Patel. Language is a binding force, would bring about effect, efficient communication, unity, state borders could spread love for language. When the Madras state was formed, Telugu people were unhappy as the millions were given more important posts and were dominant. Thus, they rebelled for separate state. Poti Srimallu wanted a separate state, went on hunger strike for Telugu speaking people. After his death, protests continued and the government gave them Andhra Pradesh in 1956. The Telugu people had an opinion option whether to stay in Madras state or shift to Andhra Pradesh. Issues: majority and minority. Majority and minority is socially Sociology is in sociology is connected with religion. Minority in any religion are those who are numerically weaker as compared to majority. In, in India, Hindus are majority class, almost 81% of the total population. Inclusive nationalism. When all religion work together for one cause benefit of the country to create unity in diversity, that is called nationalism. It recognizes diversity, but in spite of this, we come together. Like every state has their own culture, every state has their own language, every state has their own dresses. Still, we are called as Indian. We try to do a, away with discrimination and created a democratic setup. So, here is what we say. We have known that in India discrimination happens based on caste, creed, the way you speak, the religion you follow, the dresses you wear. Discrimination happens because of that. But if you talk about inclusive nationalism, in that case, we see that we all have come into one flag that is Indian. So that makes a democratic setup for all of us to be called as Indian, in spite of any religion, any language, any color, any dress culture, any borders. The second one is inclusive nationalism. When each religion does is what in their point of view will benefit the country. The best way for the country to be progressive is by including inclusive reasoning in the constitution where all section of societies including minority are taken care of. The constituent assembly tries to include social, political and economic justice when the constitution was drafted. Features of minority. They are numerically weaker and their need are not taken care of. They do not have a say in many matters. Means their opinion or their point of view is not taken when there are decision for the major thing. Like for um, putting the reservation quota, why only 5% for ST, why only 5% for SC, why only 5% for JATs, why not it's 15%, 20%, 30 and all. And if you talk about the minority or suppressed group also, they are not even talked about of anything. Even if you see the tribe people, they are not included even for in the minorities. They have low or less opportunity in comparison to the majority. So if they are numerically weaker in numbers, though the, it is clear that they are um, not going to be counted as the competitor for the majority. Minorities are often discriminated against. So discrimination against as it has already said, like they are not allowed for say in many matters. So that is the first discrimination. Second, discrimination on the basis of the quota, discrimination on the basis of the opportunity, discrimination on the basis of the cultural reason. So there are so many benefits that government provide them, but because of this minority section that is created, they face discrimination. There is a fear of insecurity, and they feel that they are at a disadvantage as they are a smaller group. So for sure, if you are in a less, means we say no, unity is strength. Okay, and when majority is there, then opinion is considered to be right. When the majority people come together, the same thing happen here also. They are minority, means they are less in numbers, so they have many insecurity regarding many things: getting a job, getting education, getting place in the higher society, getting equal respect and all. So there are so many reasons for discrimination in minority, and there is, due to which there is insecurity, like if I do this thing, maybe they will not, the other people, the majority people will discriminate us, and we will be not able to fight for our rights and all minority has a sense of collective belonging, togetherness, and they are always together and protest their right. So when it's not like only um, okay, I must give an example for this line, that is the NCAA and NCA was there, no, for nationality approval in 2019. In that case, it was set for all Muslims, all Christians, all the minority religion people, that they should show whether they are the citizen of India or not. In that case, there was a huge rights in all over the country, and you can see in the newses of that time, you would have seen that mostly the Muslim people were targeted for this, and uh, they came together, they protested for their right to not to tell like that, and it happened, and that is now settled in some extent. They have a sense of loyalty towards their nation. Jain, Parsi are the communities who are economically strong. Means these people are the businessmen people, but they are culturally and socially weak. Example, Boras and Voras. Hindus are given many holidays, but for the festival of Parsi and Jain, there are no holidays. So, this is what we call the minority suppression. Then come the minority and how, what are the policies that are present in India to protect them. In election, it is very easy for the political party to convert the numerical majority into political power, for sure. So, if there is majority of the people are there, then obviously the power of ruling comes in their hand. Like majority wins, we say no. There is a caption, there is a proverb. So, same applies here when it comes for the political power. Minority are at a risk and are vulnerable, variable. So they are at risk means they are even not asked whether they should be included in that or not. And the variable here, consider them that they are the only factor for get giving votes, but they are not having power to um, talk about all these factors so that the people can have right to speak. Thus, a majority block takes place. So, minority block take place. So, it's clearly like if they are not able to make decision, then mostly if they speaks also they don't have any power. So, so they automatically, the majority people, those who are in power, they don't listen to them. So automatically they are blocked. At times they have to give up their identity to save their position. Obviously, we have seen that there, if there are, we have seen that they are aligned group. If there are election held and there are aligned, if many of the parties are there, like 5 to 7 parties wins in different area, but the majority is of one singular party. If they get like 70 or 80% of the vote, then the other, they either come up to support the second party, or they merge with the higher party. So that is what we have here. It is given like therefore they give their own identity, being a party of being a candidate of any other party, and then giving that particular how much vote they have won to the winner party. Then obviously they are um, hiding their identities to save their position, by means like they will be in that area with the help of the majority. All region has the freedom to practice, preach, and profess their religion. So here in Indian Constitution, in Article 29 and 30, they have given like they are free to practice or preach or profess any religion. There is no foundation to follow one particular religion. So this is what the majority policies has given a space to them. Adivasis struggles. The Jana or tribes are believed to be people of the forest whose habitat is the hill and forest are shaped their economic, social and political attributes. So the word Jina, Jana is refers to the tribe who are the people from the forest, and their habitat are related to the ecosystem, and all their way of living livelihood depends on this forest. The movement from one place to another has more complicated the picture of Adivasi. So if we talk about the Adivasi people, they are the indigenous people, as we can term them, and they are mostly living in the people from the forest. So, due to the urbanization and due to the factors, what had happened is people have traveled. Sorry, due to the urbanization and industrialization, what had happened is forests are becoming being cut off so that the area can be covered. But what is actually happening is people are not able to get a particular area where they can reside. So what happened? They have migrated from one place to another, mostly in search of social and economic stability. Everybody needs to have economic stability because money is one of the factor that helps the smooth regulation of the family, so or a community. So it is very much required by the everybody, not even just the higher caste, the lower caste, the Adivasi, the other OBCs. It's not like that. It's a necessity of everyone. So this Adivasi people, they try to come up with some of the factors, and they go for um, migration so that they can have a good areas where they can have a livelihood, they can earn their livelihood. This third point all gives you a very good picture about it. For the From the district they migrate to the plantation. Okay, so from the district they move to the plantation. It directly says it's moved to the ecosystem area where they can find a forest. They can find ecosystem where they can depend on, mainly for the farmers, also for farming also they can depend. Then mines are there. So for livelihood earning, for the economic and social stability, they go for mining, coal mining or iron mining or any type of mining are there, then they go. If you can see the Bokaro, the steel city, you have the so many people where they are working in the mines. Then there are some coal mines also in West Bengal, and also the people are going in that also. Then factories are everywhere in country. So most of the Adivasi have for earning and all, because the forest area is becoming less. So they are trying and going. They are trying for the livelihood survival. They are joining the factories and other place of employment. So there are other places also, like they work in the houses, in the bungalows for their earning. They take care of the, they becomes a babysitter. They become the drivers, or they nowadays Uber driving is a lot of thing that is going on. Then bus, school bus driving, then peons and all are there. Then there are other than that also there are so many other stabilities. For stability though they come up. Then the most Adivasi statehood are in Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. So if we talk about the Indian scenario, Adivasi are mostly found in Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. Jharkhand was um, part of Bihar, but these people, they try to have another state so that they can have their own security. So now we have a new state, that is Jharkhand, and people are living there. Then there is struggle for women's equality and rights. We have already had a lot of talk about what woman is going on struggling, and what are their issues related to the women that they are facing. If you talk about some asset, every dimension in the family is where the woman is oppressed, or woman has to fight for her right. If you talk about a baby girl, being a baby girl is not enough. So what they does, mostly they kill most of the people in um, our scenario. They mostly kill their own children, like if it is a girl. So she is struggling for survival from the since she is in the womb. Then comes up as a baby girl, she has to be getting a very protective. She has to get a very care from the family and all, as she is strong and all, but still people has to go on to see whether she doesn't have bad impact of others on her. Then when she becomes an adult, when she comes in the teenage, then there are biological changes and all. She has to struggle for that also, as being first they get so many biological changes, and it becomes a struggle for her when she comes into adulthood, for jobs, family stress, family potential, family responsibilities are there, and moreover family respect has to be carried out mostly by the girls. I'm not saying boys are not there, they are also there, but mostly if you see, the girls are being pointed out, like तुमने मेरे खानदान की इज्जत घटा दी, you are the nose of my house, you keep up my nose, I will keep up your wills and all. So it's like that. After she get married, or after she studies also, everybody depends on her, everything. Even she is sick also, she can't take sick leave. Then there are so many, when she is still trying to acknowledge her womanhood, that the very point she get a baby and she enters her motherhood, and again the same process, taking so much risk and caring and all. So it's not like what a woman, I'm not trying to tell that woman is a sufferer, but there are so many struggles that comes up. If you have seen a lot of if you see on Mother's Day, you will find a lot of people, they try to post some pictures, they try to acknowledge their mothers, they try to um, um, tell the struggles of the women, of their mothers or wives or their sisters, like how, or their daughters, how they have come up and how they are flying in the rainbow colors and all. So it's not very easy for a woman to have a equal accessibility as the other gender in the society. It's not only the oppression, it oppresses that happens in the society, but there are some biological wills that also tries to make a woman lesser as compared to the male. If you see the first point here, there are no biological reason that can explain why women are found not in position as men. So, if you talk about the male's power and strength, there are so many things which are happening. Uh, like you can't say a woman that she cannot lift around this much of kgs of weight. If you see in Olympics, there are so many women who have who have won medals for sports and all, for weightlifting and all. Then second thing, if you see, women will do all the house course. She is there from 4 a.m. in the morning till 11 a.m. 11 p.m. at the night. She is working there and she is not getting any pay there. It's, if you see a mother, she is after the child a whole day, caring her, caring the baby, taking looking after her, making them do their homework, making them study, making them uh, good looks, taking them bath, and there are so many course of work that is done by a woman. So if a person is said like, okay, the male is the breadwinner now in 21st century, I can say uh, our life is like a train. We can't uh, uh, our life is like a railway tracks. So we can't say like the male is the only breadwinner. There are women, the second partner, female partner is also working and trying to equilibrate the situation in the family. Okay, so they are trying to give hand in financial and household work. So that's why most of the families that we found in the cities are equalitarian family, where an nuclear family, where the people are sharing equal position in the family. So we can't say like male are the higher uh, position as from women. Why? There are so many reasons. If you see, you can illustrate so many reasons. If a woman is biological unfit to be head of the family, then there is an Nayars of and then why in Nayars of Kerala and Meghalaya still are working today. So if you talk about the family's tradition, like a woman cannot be called as a woman since she gave a birth to a baby, she gives the name of the family. There are Khasi, this group, Khasi tribe in India, they are from Meghalaya. They give their baby's name with the mother as a title of the mother's title. Why the reason is there, nobody knows. But so in some area they have told like biologically a woman can be a head of the family. She can take a responsibility. If you talk about the Switzerland, um, most of the governing officers are women. As it was told, like there is a story like in Second World War, all the males were sent to the war and everybody died. Most of the males were there and were died. So most of the women, what they did, they came up and they said, okay, we have to take care of the country, and they started to work. and now that same tradition is there. I think in Switzerland only if a woman breaks the rule and a male and a one male is done the same uh, violation of the rules, both in both cases what happens, the female has to pay more because uh, they have made rule like that women are equal to male. Most of them are saying like women are not a good drivers. There are so many a pilot women who are there who are pilots and they flew the planes. So if roads are not meant for them, they are meant for the skies. And if you see in most of the factory, women are the key laborers that are working there for decoration, for piling up, for um, stitching, for finishing look and all, for packaging, for different things. Most of them are, if we say girls are not good at maths, in that also um, women are getting they are becoming the bankers. I think SBI chairman is a woman. So these are the factors that has. If you see the struggles behind these women, you will find a lot of uh, like inequality that has been happened to them. So now the society has become little much aware about the women's power and women's knowledge and their potential, so they have made some reservations in the society, like and now the scenario has changed from earlier situation and women are getting reservation and quotas for their own development and development of the society. So before if you talk about the history, we see that there was so many inequalities like anti-sati. If the male is died, the woman has to die alive with the burn alive with the dead body of her husband. Then girls' education was not given. Widow remarriage was not there because women were when they become widow, they were executed from the society and thrown out of the society. They live in a very different and unwanted areas were carried out by male, as the women were not asked allowed to speak and stand for themselves. So that time also there were so many problems that women were not allowed to speak for themselves. If they stand also, either they were killed or they were beaten so hard so that they cannot get up from the bed and all. So they were tortured so that they cannot stand for themselves. But now scenario has changed. There are some quotas. There are quotas for elections, there are quotas for reservations, there are quotas for everything. If you see an exam, if you see an interview, if you see a higher post, everywhere you will find at least 33% of um, a quota or reservation for the women.